Hi everyone, it's issue 22 time for the Build the Millennium Falcon series. Got a little bit more interior detail by the look of it. That looks like cushioning for the corridor that we started the other week, and obviously some more whole framework. And so our usual little look ahead. Looks like we've got some more of the building jig coming next week, and oh good, some more framework. I like getting framework in so that we can actually build the hull and get some shape to the thing. I'm not sure what else we got here. Looks like more internal corridors or something perhaps. Anyway, let's do the usual thing. I'll get it all open and we'll see what we're doing this week. Okay, this week is really just a repeat of last week before, I forget when it was. Basically it's these cushions onto the far side of the cockpit corridor. It should basically be another, just basically repeating the steps that we did there. So I'll make a start on that, but it's the usual deal. Just trim them off, make sure they're nice and clean, test fit them, and then just glue them into place finally with a spot of super glue, and that should be fairly straightforward. So I'll come back to you in a little while. Okay, when you get to the fifth piece on here, effectively you've got the first 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. They fit very much like they did on the earlier side, but I don't know if you remember when I was doing that video, I was expecting these top pieces on this side to protrude above the edge of the corridor, but they didn't, so I was a bit surprised. But this is where we're doing it, so because that's going to be the side that we're going to be able to look in and view, presumably. So what they've done is, instead of having a big unsightly sort of join along the back, the second row of cushions are going to go over the edge of the moulding. And the idea is very much like when we did, I think it was this corridor, the idea is that the cushions hide the seam. So when you go to fit these, if it doesn't look like they fit, don't worry, that's how they're meant to fit. They're only going to fit onto half of the bottom part of the corridor. So I'll get a couple more in and I'll show you a bit more, but yeah, this is the bit I expected we were getting the other time, just where this is going to these are going to help the whole thing sort of interlock into the ceiling when that bit arrives. Okay, that's what you should have by the end of this piece. So we've got the corridor cushions assembled on both sides now, but the bit I was explaining earlier is on this side they'll be flush, on that side they'll be protruding, but that's absolutely as it's meant to be because the ceiling is going to interlock so that we don't see the join. And that's about it. Again, this is the cockpit corridor. Hi everyone, it's time for issue 23 of Build the Millennium Falcon. We've got more of the support jig by the look of it, some more framework, and I think that's the roof of the corridor to the cockpit that we've been working on the last couple of issues. Now, something I noticed, I'm going to get a little whinge out of the way here, and this is to D'Agostini. There's a lot of people all around the world buying this, and I've just spotted a real problem. Actually, you can see it on the TV advert, and basically what it is this is a brilliant kit. It's a very, very realistic version of, or very realistic replica of the 32-inch studio model, but there's one piece that makes the whole thing look like a ridiculous toy, and I'm going to show you what that is. And D'Agostini, please, please, please take note of this. I hope someone sees this video from D'Agostini, because this is shocking. It looked bad on the TV ad, but this is a photograph of the cockpit, and this isn't the studio model, this is actually the D'Agostini model when it's complete, because you can see the cutaways. Look at that piece of glass, or plastic that's representing glass. Great big thick horrible inset lines. It looks like a toy. If the final version looks like that, I'm going to be disgusted. D'Agostini, please listen, you've got to replace that part. Now the ILM model builders, when they made Star Wars, deliberately didn't use glass or didn't put glass or anything that looked like glass in the windows to stop reflections from lighting. But you can do a better job than that. It's got to be much thinner, and you shouldn't see these inside lines. Okay, the glass should be there, but barely perceptible that it's there. That just makes it look like a toy. Anyway, rant over. The rest of it's brilliant, but that I'm really disappointed. If that's what the glass looks like when I get it, it is not going in. No way. So rant over, but please, D'Agostini, that piece needs addressing. Otherwise you're going to have a lot of very unhappy people. Especially if they're into the detail. You know, if you're going to all the time and trouble to make this thing look accurate, why ruin it by making it look like a toy with a silly piece of perspex in the window? Those internal frames should not be visible. That's just appalling. It looks like a milk bottle, like milk bottle glasses, you know, that people wear when you know, and they look bad because they're too thick. Just looks awful. Please, D'Agostini, listen up on that. Anyway, seriously, rant over. I'll do the usual stuff and get on with what needs to be done. Basically, it looks like we're just putting the final cushions on the inset roof of the corridor. This is going to be the cutaway section, and then we're going to bolt it in. That looks like all we're really doing this week. But yeah, major gripe over that. If you're watching this video, if you've got any comments, then please add them below. I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, but to me that ruins the whole thing. Anyway, see you later. Okay, this is the bit where I've skipped ahead a little bit. Now, one of the prices for skipping ahead like I have been doing is to fit these last few sections that we've now got as with issue 23. Although we don't have instructions to fit them yet, I've just gone ahead and fitted them where they quite obviously go. So the framework's starting to build around like so. But because I was a bit impatient earlier, and I always try and give you the old government health warnings, I've had to take most of this section apart that I put together early to get them in. Just to stress the health warnings I normally give you. If you're going to go ahead, be prepared to take it apart again, and be prepared for the fact that the more you take these screws in and out, the less thread there'll be in the plastic. So it really truly is better to just wait and be patient and fit them as the instructions tell you. But because I'm a little bit naughty, I've gone ahead and done that much. So yeah, so just to give you an idea what it's like. But basically some of this framework fits underneath this recessed panel, so this has to come back off. And I am actually considering, I haven't done it yet, but I am actually considering maybe putting some more lights in this than it's going to come with. When the Falcon is in landed mode, so it's on the surface, so if you look at Empire Strikes Back, when the Falcon's in the hangar on Hoth, there's an awful lot of landing lights, or sort of courtesy lights that go around here. You see them quite obviously. Places like that, I think, is sort of where one of them is, and you get a ring of white lights around here, and there's some little red marker lights and so on. So I'm considering putting them in. I don't know yet, but if I do, what that does mean is we'll have to light block the whole thing, because you can quite clearly see light just leaks through it. So what I'm considering doing is the next time I take these the plating off, I'm probably going to prime it and paint the inside either a dark grey or black or something, just to block any light for leaks for the lights that I may add later. Now I don't know what lights are coming in the kit. I know the engine lights and I know the cockpit lights, and probably the spotlights at the front of the loading mandibles, but I don't know. I don't think there's anything else, so I might just fit some of these marker lights that go around the underneath. So but I'll show you everything about how I'm going to do it if I do it. But I do think if there's any more lighting to go in, this is going to have to be primed and painted on the inside, even if we leave the outside as it is, because that's not a bad whole colour as it is. So we'll see. But with the rest of this week, really what we're doing is we're fitting. This is what we have so far, and this quite simply is the ceiling. And if you remember, I was giving you a bit of a warning about these little notches, making sure they're in the right place. It's so that that all fits in there nice and neatly. And then we're going to have the closing sort of roof structure. The panels there, those cushions, fit up inside there to complete the interior of the corridor. And then the bit that's going to open up, we're going to be able to look in and see that for all its glory, as it were. And it's quite easy to see how this fits in now, how it all clips together. And there's a little ring somewhere here, like on the other end, which is going to keep it all tight together. So I'll get those cushions glued in just the same way we've been doing so far. Cut them off, clean them up, pop a little bit of super glue on there, and it's job done. So I'll show you a little bit more of that once it's finished. Okay, that's what you'll have at the end. So we've got the cushions in place, the two halves just clipped together. There's a little ring at the end that's going to hold it. This is where you see it's quite important that those cushions fit right, so because I've got those two just a little bit close together, you see there. So yeah, just watch your spacing on those. But the ring fits over the end, so that's fine. And then that's obviously going to join up to this. I've actually just taken it off for now. They do tell you don't fit it for now. You can test fit it, but they say don't actually screw it in for now. So, and I'm starting to find out that where they say don't be impatient and don't go on ahead, I'm starting to realise that actually in some places it's not really a problem, but in other places it is. So yeah, that's not really going to work with holding the camera at the same time, but you get the idea. So that's actually the corridor that goes off to the cockpit. So although you don't see it on the inside of the set in Star Wars or Empire, because the cockpit here is higher than the middle of the saucer, there would have to be a small ramp. So when you're leaving the cargo hold, you're going out through this corridor, you turn left into this corridor, which goes to the flight deck. There has to be a little ramp, because it's literally, the cockpit is a little bit higher than centre. It's not in the centre of the axis, it's just high of centre. So yeah, I am very disappointed with this glass. If that's what it's going to look like, it makes the whole thing look like a toy. So I propose, well, I've put a message at the beginning of this video. I hope someone from D'Agostini sees it, because I think that needs recasting. You shouldn't be able to see those horrible grey lines in there. It just makes it look like a toy. That needs recasting. There's a much thinner transparency. I'm even considering making my own glass, because that's just awful. And I must admit, on the advert on TV, if you watch that advert and you watch the bit where it zooms in through the cockpit, it's the glass that lets the entire model down. So anyway, that's my feelings. Some of you may agree, some of you may disagree, but I think anyone who thinks the same as me, I think we ought to perhaps let our feelings be known to D'Agostini. I mean, this is 900 quid. It's a very accurate studio scale model that, in my opinion, is ruined for one piece. But I'll probably just leave that out. In fact, hell, leaving no glass in was good enough for ILM, Industrial Light and Magic, who did the effects for Star Wars. So if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. In fact, on the small version I'm going to build, I've chosen to do that without the glass, because at that scale it just rips it. It just doesn't look right. Anyway, rant over. I'd probably wrap that up for this video. I may do a bit more if I choose to take some of that plating off and start to prime the inside of it. I'll let you know. But if you can see all these boxes, I am moving next week. So I'm having to clear out the whole office. All the shelves are gone with the models. So what, a week tomorrow I'm moving house. So there may be a slight interruption in the videos for a week or two when I get myself together, so bear with me if there's a little bit of a gap between this video and the next one, but I'll just cut the two together, so this video should end up being issue 22 and 23, and that's it for now. So again, I hope these are interesting and useful. There's not too much going on in this one really. It'll be more interesting when we get to, you know, painting the hull and doing this sort of stuff like I did last week. you know, painting it, maybe adding some more lights, that sort of stuff. But that's really all we can do for now. So I shall see you the other side of the move, and take care. Bye for now.